Welcome to the Summit Breakthrough That Career Plateau. I'm your host, Linda Butler. If you're a woman in mid-career, midlife, at a career crossroads, feeling stuck, wondering if it's too late to change, but you are made for more, this is the place for you. In this summit, you are gaining inside access to top experts who are here to help you learn how to identify new opportunities, create momentum, and take action to create that dream next role. And today I am happy to introduce one of those experts, our speaker, Lauren Young Durbin. Lauren is a certified career transition coach who helps professional women take bold steps into fulfilling new careers. By combining over 15 years of legal experience with nearly a decade of coaching expertise, she has enabled her clients to redesign their current positions to improve their job satisfaction, switch to radically different fields, and more. Her expertise around smart career pivots, overcoming professional fears, and building career confidence. She's a graduate of Wellesley College, New York Law School, and the International Coach Academy. She's also a certified professional resume writer, certified digital career specialist, and is director on the board of the Wellesley College Alumni Association. So welcome, Lauren.
Hi. I always love to hear the bio. I'm like, oh, who's that? It's me.
Yeah, that sounds impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's a tip for everyone watching. Write a bio of yourself, and then you can build yourself up.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Because why not? I mean, you got it, flaunt it, right? So
Exactly. There's your elevator speech.
yeah, you've got the chops. You got to show it. So yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to kind of delve in with you because I love how you mentioned that you focus on career pivots and helping people be satisfied in current roles as well. So it's kind of the gamut of opportunities for folks that are looking for a change. But can you maybe give us a little more backdrop of why you ended up in coaching? So what kind of drew you, I guess, to this field?
Well, when I came out of law school, before I went to law school, when I came out of undergrad, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I worked in DC, worked in the Senate, and I worked with a career coach, and we talked about what I wanted to do. I wanted to go in government. That's since changed, but we decided that going to law school was the best way to go. And so I went to law school and kind of bounced around about what kind of law I wanted to do. And then I used the same career coach afterwards when I was thinking about pivoting to my own career coach pivoting, or like career coach, career pivoting. And it wasn't a great experience for both two reasons. And being the typical type A person I am, I'm like, I can do better than that. Let me look into this coaching thing. I could give advice. And so I went through, it was a 2-year program with the International Coach Academy. And that's how I got certified. And so that's how I got into coaching. And I've refined what my coaching is based on both my interests and what I've seen people really need.
Okay, excellent. So you decided, hey, I can do this better and help people. Yeah,
Yes.
love that. Yeah. So let's kind of delve into changing careers. And sometimes that can feel daunting for people and women in particular. So how do you kind of approach it, or what's your methodology if you're working with someone that says, hey, I'm really considering changing a career?
Well, the first thing I do is I always say I listen to what isn't said. Because one of the reasons why you'll see the career pivot and changing within your role is because sometimes people are dissatisfied about things that changing careers aren't going to fix. You know? So I listen to, like, where have you been? Where do you want to go? And then I really hone in on that why in between part. It's like, okay, so what's your motivation? Why do you want to change? What are you interested in doing? And it's really that middle part that helps me hone in on what's really going on. Do you actually want to change careers, or do you want like better benefits? Do you want to raise? Are you just, why haven't you changed careers if that's what you wanted to do? So that's really that's my methodology. I mean, I wish I had I have an outline, but it's personalized to every person. So sometimes someone will come in and I'll give you, for instance, I had a client who worked in the gas and oil industry. And she said, I want to change careers. I either want to go into accounting or become a doctor. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Those are very different. Why do you want to do accounting? And she said, that's all I've been doing. I said, well, why do you want to be a doctor? And she said, because they're busy. I said, ma'am, no, let's not do that. And so she'll come back around. She's like, maybe I'm like, well, why? Again, have your reasoning changed? Because she was like, I've been wanting to be a doctor for a while, but it's really just because she's like, it's interesting and they're busy. I'm like, watch ER. Grey's Anatomy. That's not a good reason to change there. And she wanted to go into accounting because that's what she's been doing. And in talking to her, what we really honed in on is how she liked to help people. Because so many people want to help people. It's like, well, how do you want to help them specifically? And she's one of the few people I actually suggested she goes to law school. I'm usually a big proponent of if you don't go to law school unless you know exactly what you want to do. It's a big investment of time and money and energy. But she was really interested she comes from an immigrant background. And so she works in that field just volunteering. And she's like, I really want to work on immigration issues. And so we talked about different ways for her to do that. And so she's like, I really want to go in immigration law and help people in the process of becoming citizens and help that with that. So that was a situation where it was a completely different shift from what she came in for, because it was really about finding out what she actually wanted to do, her real reasons. Um, I was actually just spoke to her the other day. She's doing great. She did her LSAT. She's applied to school, so she's waiting to hear back. But it was great working with her.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great example. And, it seems like, and I've seen it myself, that a lot of women have this feeling, or they get to this point in midlife, mid-career, and they recognize they're ready for more or want to do something more, but they're unsure of what those possibilities could be. So
Yes.
have you worked with folks like that before? And how do you, I guess, start the process, or what could a person be doing now as they're trying to think through what are my real possibilities?
I start with writing. I always suggest taking a week and writing down all the possibilities. I'm like, you don't have to be realistic now. You spend your whole life being realistic. Just get a little, or in your phone or a little notepad, just write down anything that you find interesting. If you're like reading the newspaper and you see there's a penguin specialist, I don't know. And you're like, I'm interested in penguinology or whatever they call penguin specialist. Write it down. And then after that week, go back and hone that down. And then to maybe 5 if you want to look into more. That's more in line with either the skills that you have or the skills you want to develop. And then like continue to hone down from however many you have on your list. I always say have at least 10 or 20. 10 or 20, we all come across 10 or 20 things. We're like, well, that'd be interesting, but hone it down to 1 or 2 that you really start looking into. And also look at, so that would be the first step, just writing down the different possibilities. But I would say even before that, really think about what it is that you want to change. Is it that maybe you don't like what you're focusing on in your current job, but there's something else in the same company or even the same department that you might be more interested in? You can put that should go on your list too. But for a lot of people, it isn't so necessarily they need to completely change careers. They just maybe need to do a pivot and they need help narrowing that down. So include the pivots on there too. It doesn't have to be a wholly different field.
Yeah, that makes sense in terms of just starting to think of the possibilities, and and let's talk about that too in terms of maybe it's not changing companies, maybe it is just something different within the company or even your own role. How do you coach women? Because sometimes that takes a different belief system and maybe a different roadmap. Do you have any tips for someone that maybe they're mostly satisfied with the company they're with, they just want to do something a little different? How do they start to create that belief system that's something available to them?
I have another example. I worked with somebody and she thought that she's like, I really like my company. I enjoy what I'm doing, but I'm really dissatisfied. What again, we went through that. And so she actually thought she wanted to change careers. And I'm like, okay. So we went through, and she went through the whole process, and we're like, she's like, I'm interested in this. And then, but when we kept talking, we realized she was dissatisfied with her interaction with her manager.
Mm.
And so what we worked on with her was one, building up her confidence to like, you have this experience, you've done well, you know this, like you've told me this. And the problem I have is that I have a hard time pulling these accomplishments out of people because
Mm.
we're all like high achievers. So to us, high achieving is the norm. That's the standard. We don't recognize our greatness. And so it's really pulling it out. So take a step back. If you always say, talk to yourself as if you're talking to your best friend. So in order to build that confidence, you really have to start thinking about what do you bring to the table? Because you bring something to the table or you wouldn't be at the table at all. So to build that belief system, to start pivoting, understand that what you want to do, like where are you good at and that you want to do, because there are things I'm good at that I don't want to do. I don't want to be paid for. And so start looking and see if there are roles within your company to do that. And if can start working with and getting to know the people within that department or that sector of the business. But it really starts from within and understanding that you bring something to the table, even if it seems like it's not transferable. Everyone has transferable skills.
Right, right. And yeah, and I agree with you. I think, and that seems to be a struggle for women in particular, which is that recognition of the things you're really good at, that
Mhm.
others may not have those skills.
Yeah.
Is there a good way to get started on really pulling those out of your brain? You talked about accomplishments, but it could be experiences too, right? Your life
Yes.
experiences. Yeah. Is there a
Yeah.
process that you recommend for people?
I recommend, I have this questionnaire I give to clients, and I actually have them write out their top 10, put 10, I assume it's top 10 hard skills and top 10 soft skills.
Mm.
And then I like put a star next to the ones that you actually enjoy doing. Because maybe you're great at Excel, but you really would love not to never have to look at another spreadsheet ever. So make a list of what you're good at and then hone it down to what you actually enjoy doing. And that'll give you a better idea when you're looking at different positions where or not that fits into what you're moving towards. Because so many of us are just held on to what we've done that we're like, well, I can't do anything else. This is what I've been doing. I can't do anything else. And yeah, you can. If you can present on different subjects. Yeah, you can. If you're a good writer, you can write about different subjects. Maybe technical versus fiction or whatever, but those are transferable skills. And so that's why I would recommend to people start paying attention to what you do well. Think about what other people say you've done well. Look at your reviews, your annual reviews. So you have a record. You have it written down somewhere. So it just takes the time. And I know finding time is hard, but take the time to do it. It's worth the investment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's great advice. Yeah. What do you normally see as common obstacles in changing careers?
I would say confidence, have lack of confidence, I should say, uh, fear, and I would say a lack of time, but I'm going to put that in quotes because the confidence one we've already kind of talked about. People aren't sure that they'll be able to make it to like make like I don't have the skills to do the thing I want to do. Almost always they do have some skills. Maybe they need to add more or get better or something, but they always have the skills. They worry that they don't have the experience needed. I'm like, you probably do that. I mean, there's a reason why I'm interested in this. Maybe it's volunteer, maybe some of you were just doing for fun. In terms of fear, a lot of the fear is fear of change, fear of not making enough money. That's the big concern that people are like, I don't want to make less money. I don't think I can make as much money as I'm making now in this new position. And I'd probably say 75% of the time I ask them, do you know how much that they make in that field? And they don't know. So it's like, well, how can you say that? But it's all stemming from fear, which is very understandable. And you can actually overcome that by one, recognizing it and then working to overcome it. And the third is lack of time. The reason why I was saying I put that in quotes was because we all have the same amount of time. It's a matter of prioritizing. And one of the things that stop people, including myself, is I think of things as like a huge project instead of just saying, let's say you're into your resume. Instead of saying I have to redo my entire resume, which is like, just say, I'm just going to work on this job, this section for the job that I'm working on now. Or I'm just going to work on the skills I have here. So just break it down so it's doable. So maybe you only have 5 minutes a day, but you do something and that adds up.
Okay. So it sounds like that would be kind of an action plan. So would that be the recommendation that someone put together some type of plan to move forward?
Yes. Yes. Well, you have to, in order to actually have a plan, it was, and I'm sure there's some Pinterest quote. It's like a goal is, oh, I can't remember what it was. But anyway, it's not really a plan if you don't write it down or have like a goal, a time set, and what exactly you want to do. Like you can't just say I want to change jobs. That's a goal, but it's not a plan. So the first thing one of the first things you should do is figure out how much time you have to spend. And how often. Do you have 10 minutes a day? Do you have I have an hour a week, this block that I can do, and figure out and prioritize what needs to be done. I always say the first thing that needs to be done is figuring out what exactly you want to do. Change jobs, change careers, change within the field, and that's the place to start.
Okay, great. Excellent. Well, those are great tips. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
No problem.
And do you have one, maybe a simple one, a simple tip that you can give anyone watching that is considering, making a shift or a change? Is there one tip they could start implementing today?
Write down, it's not the first of the year yet, but it's almost. Write down what you want to be doing a year from now. What do you actually want to be doing? Like, not what you think it would be, what you want to be doing in your job. Not in your current position, but ultimately, like ideally, what would you like to be doing in a year? And then work back from there.
So that becomes kind of your destination, your goal. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great tip. Thank you. Yeah. And I understand that you have a free gift that you're willing to offer.
I do. Yeah, it's the Taiki Career Transition Roadmap, which works on with my tip, because that's your destination and this roadmap will help you get there. Hopefully in less than a year, but if a year is what you got, then a year is what you got. So you can sign up and get the roadmap to help you get there.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I will drop the link to that below this video, as well as your contact information. So all the ways that they can get a hold of you, we will drop below. So thank you again for being here and for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge with us. And I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you. It's been great.